Hi, I've been meaning to show you this game called The Crew, which I think is a very underrated game, and you might enjoy it because it's kind of similar to Need for Speed. But the reason why I want to show you this is because this game has very condensed versions of major states and locations. For example, I'm going to show you now Folsom has the state prison and also Folsom Lake.
Alex, great
And
job, Cobra. We're getting closer.
Definitely. You find anything on cam?
I want to know whether or not it has the feel of Folsom and whether there's any familiarity there. So this is a car. My favorite car is the McLaren. And I think it's very early in the morning, a bit misty. And after this I'm going to show you Sacramento and San Francisco. So behind me is State Prison. And that's about as close as I can get, really. So we're going to drive around to Folsom Lake. For me, the game is mostly made of. It's one of the biggest maps, if not the biggest map that any game has created. It's huge. I mean, it would take days to drive around the whole map. I haven't fully covered the whole map yet, but I've covered about 80% of it. But I do think that this has the feel of Folsom. It just has there's not, as you can see, there's not many houses around, there's not many cabins around. So, you know, each state will have some monuments and some familiar buildings. New York, for example, and Los Angeles. And there's Miami and New Orleans, Florida, Seattle, and I think Texas, Death Valley, and the mountain states are quite fun to drive around, and it has the feel. I think I haven't really been. I've been to Florida, and obviously I've been to California. So I can't really say whether or not it has the feel in other places, but here you go. This is the Folsom Lake. I think I remember it to be similar to that anyway. But so that is over here we have Lake Tahoe. Is that how you say it? Lake Tahoe. Auburn. I don't know how far that is really from Folsom, and I don't know whereabouts you currently live. Is it Malaga? So we're going to check out Sacramento now. So when I went to this area with Brian and Tom, I do remember this building. I can't remember the name of the building now, but this building here, for me, this area seems to be very quite accurate. And the little park area around it had, I remember it had oranges. I think it was citrus, or it could have been clementines. But yeah, I think this condensed version of the very center of Sacramento, it's quite good. I mean, the graphics are quite good. I mean, not too far off from GTA in a way. You can't get out of the car though, you can only drive around. But the game has recently had a graphical overhaul. So there you go. I mean, this looks very familiar to me. So I'm just going to drive around in a loop. I've got quite a big car collection. I've got a Corvette, and I have a lot of souped up cars, like a Mercedes-Benz and an Aston Martin. You can't actually run people over in this game though. The people here always back away at the last minute, at the last second, which is good. I mean, GTA obviously is very over the top and very gratuitous. This game is very friendly in that aspect. So we're gonna drive up to the front and just get a closer view. As you can see, the people don't swear, and they don't. It's very kind of PC, this game, but. So there you go. Now we're going to check out San Fran. And I can't remember if there is Alcatraz in this game, but I am going to go over the bridge towards the end, and definitely the famous roads and the famous hilly roads are definitely intact here. So I don't know whether the makers of this game have laser scanned the actual area. I mean, I'd imagine that's how things are done now. Is that these games, for example, with GTA, some of the locations are based on real buildings and areas. Whereas some games really do laser scan the whole environment. So yeah, I'm in two minds really about these games, because on one hand, it's virtual reality and it's becoming more and more virtual. It's becoming more and more real. And for me, gameplay is more important than graphics, but the graphics do help. But it's when it becomes too virtual. It's when it becomes kind of the Lawnmower Man meets Tron. That's when I start to get worried about it, because I do enjoy games, but I do worry the direction that's going, and I think at some point I would draw the line You know, if it becomes too realistic, then I will draw the line there. But this game is pretty good, graphics wise anyway. So there you go, I can stretch my legs now and I can go full pout. Just scraping past cars. And there you go, that's a little tour.